combo shit.
Welcome back to put another quarter in and another build video of It Might Not Be Meta, but we don't really care. Folks, this is the Foehammer Paladin, and we're going to jump right into the Psycanium. We're going to show you what we got going on.
In this shadowy world.
Alright, well, on Damnation in the Psycanium. Welcome back. Alright, I'm going to show you the meat of this build right away. I'm going to show you the weapons real quick, and then I'll explain some other stuff. This is all around the Crucius Thunderhammer. Absolutely fantastic. And the bolt gun. You can also use the Shredder. I find the Shredder is really effective, and it just is going to be a matter of the way you like to play. The Shredder is much better for the mobs, where the bolt gun is great all around, but way harder hitting on any of the big enemies. So it's just going to be a matter of how you want to play it. And then you can set your curios up any way you like. I like 1 toughness, 1 wound, 1 health. And for those missions that you need an extra wound, I drop the extra health for an extra wound. And that's really about it as far as those. But set them up how you like. And use whatever talent you like on those. Now on my hammer, I'm going to show you the talent I've got. I've got momentum for the 3 enemies with an attack restores toughness, which also goes, and it's going to synergize with some of the talents. So let's show you what we got going on. All right, this is a complete paladin build. This is a support build for you and your team. You're going to be staying in coherency. This is not the guy that's going to run the loner. If you want to run the loner, you got to come down here to the right side. If you're that guy that's running out on their own, or you play with a bunch of randos. You can use this build with playing with randoms as well. You just need to stay with the group, because everything in here is about keeping your group in coherency and keeping them alive and having absolute ridiculous damage while you're doing it. So let's start right up at the top, and we'll just do the center core right here. I've got Anointed in Blood, which gives us 25% base damage, reduced from the further you are from the target. So when you're using the bolt gun or you're using that shredder, the further you are away from your target, the more damage you're going to get out of that range shot, which is quite nice. Now, Fortitude and Fellowship, 25% coherency toughness regen for you guys. So you want to keep everybody in your group. And then Purge of the Unclean, 20% increased damage against infested and unyielding enemies. So you get a lot of damage against your harder enemies right there off the rip. And then Toughness Boost, and then coming down to Restoring Faith. On taking damage, heal 25% of that damage over 5 seconds, which is fantastic. So yeah, take damage and you get some back. Now let's check this left side. We got Disdain, which is +5 damage on your next melee attack for each enemy hit. So you're going to be doing that charged melee attack, that big arc swing that's going to hit multiple enemies, which we already have on the weapon. So that's going to add to that right there, and it stacks 5 times. So you're going to be getting tons of melee damage. Enemies within, enemies without. Replenish 2.5 toughness per second while within 5 meters of at least 3 enemies. So anytime you got 3 enemies around you, you're gaining toughness. It's just like being in coherency with your team. But you're getting it from the enemies, which, you know, why not? It's going to make you super tanky. And then 15% toughness boost. And then Bleed for the Emperor. Damage that would take your health to the next wound. So if you're moving that wound line, if you jump that line, whatever jumps across that line is reduced by 40%. So that's huge. And we're going to have a ton of wounds in there. So that's going to be great. So it doesn't mean you have less health or more health. It just means it's slotted to more allotments. So if you only have 2 wounds, then you have 50% health on each side. Whereas if you have 8 wounds, you've got a much less amount of health in that slot. It's the same amount of health, but it's divvied up differently. Now, Backstabber, 20% damage on melee backstab hits. When one of your buddies is engaged with one of the really big guys, an unyielding enemy, whatever, one of the crushers, one of the bulwarks, you just charge up and come behind him and hit him in the back, and it just wrecks him in one. And then we have Scourge, which is melee hits apply bleed, causing damage over time. So if you do melee hit headshot one of the mobs and it doesn't seem to kill them, they're going to bleed out anyway, which is pretty nice. And it stacks. So then we're going to come down here. We've covered everything up in the top. We're coming down. We have the Immolation Grenade. Now, this is my favorite of the grenades, and I do know a lot of people love that stun grenade to open up space and all that, but I find I've used them all, and the blades, I'm not a big fan. Truly not really big fan of those. It's just a one-shot hitter-quitter, and I already have that with my weapons. So the Immolation Grenade, this opens up space when you throw it at your feet. When you hear the hounds coming, when you know there's a huge group of hounds coming, you've got, upped hounds, packs of dogs, and that's a time when a lot of teams fold because they end up getting trappered, and a couple people get jumped by hounds, and then there's no way out of those. So the Immolation Grenade, if the hounds jump on you, they automatically hop back off you because they get set on fire. So it's a huge crowd control thing. If you're getting mobbed, all those smaller enemies, all your regular trash mobs, they take so much damage just from the fire that if you can dodge away from them and worry about the big mobs that are in there, your maulers, your ragers, your bulwarks, it allows you to focus on them and do your damage to them, and the trash mobs usually die out, especially if you throw one down and as it's wearing out you throw another one down. So it's huge, absolute huge utility, absolutely fantastic. Moving down, we get more toughness, and then the Emperor's Bullet. So this right here, this is so just absolutely fantastic with the weapons that we are carrying, the firearms. And it doesn't matter which one you're using, whether you're using the Shredder for the mobs or you're using the bolt gun for everything, and it's super high output. When you empty your mag, which happens all the time, you immediately flip to your melee and you hit, and it gives you 30% impact strength and 10% attack speed for 5 seconds. So as soon as you dump that, especially when you got those mobs around you, you flip to your melee, you charge up real hard, and blah, and just send them out, and you will just rocket guys away from you. Absolute huge utility. And then we're coming down, we're going to get more hammer utility coming up real soon. We got Shield of Contempt. When anybody, you or your allies, take damage, they gain 60% damage reduction for 4 seconds, and it triggers every 10 seconds. This is so ridiculous and keeps your team alive because they don't even know that they're taking damage within coherency. They take damage and it's lessened from them. So it makes everybody in your team tankier. And you come down, Hammer of Faith, we get 30% impact strength. And then with Beacon of Purity, we heal corruption off of our allies and ourselves as long as that wound is not fully corrupt. As long as you've got a sliver that hasn't maxed it out, you will heal that entire bar of corruption out as long as it's not maxed out. And absolutely fantastic. And so you just give it a minute, and your whole team starts losing their corruption. And if you have corruption coming on from grimoires, this helps counter that corruption. It ticks it back, or it doesn't let it tick forward as fast. And then moving down, we get a little bit of toughness DR. And then my favorite part of the entire build, this is the Chorus of Spiritual Fortitude. This is your Holy Relic. And my God, does this do ridiculous stuff. Each pulse replenishes 45 toughness for allies. And if you're already full, it grants you an overshield of toughness. Absolutely huge. Massive amounts of utility. And then when you move it down, the pulses also stagger and suppress enemies, and they increase each time that it pulses. That stagger gets harder and pulses further every time that you do it. So if you have a teammate that goes down, you can get over there and toss that up, and you can pulse everything back and stagger everything back away from you while your teammates get your teammate up. And massive amounts of utility, staggers back everything except for a charging mutant and one of the big unyielding enemies, like your mini bosses, your Rasta Jabba or your corrupted Ogryn. And then if we move over here, we got channeling pulses, increases it each time it pulses out. It increases the damage, but it also gives damage to your allies. Now you can decide to take extra DR over here, but I find that what this puts out is plenty, is absolutely plenty. And if you're not using it to pick up an ally, or if you're just getting mobbed, or you get several patrols of big guys that come in at once, which happens, where you'll have 3 or 4 crushers and a bunch of bulwarks, and you got guys shooting you from everywhere. You pulse this, and it starts staggering everything, and all of your allies get 15% damage on that. So you can do ridiculous stuff and open up a ton of room for you and your buddies. Moving down, we get a little bit more DR. Now, this is where you're going to take your split. I've never found that any of this stuff really helps me out to where I want to take it. Sorry for anybody that really likes it. Now, if you are the type of person that goes down on your own a lot, you find that you are going down, you just don't have the chops yet, well, then take the martyrdom center column, because there's some penances that go along with it. But basically what happens is the weaker you get with your missing wounds, the stronger you get. The more DR you get, the more damage output you get, is the basic gist of the whole thing. And you can come down here and get an extra 2 wounds on top of everything that you're getting. So if you are the individual, like you play with randoms and they just leave you, or you just don't have the chops and you just can't keep yourself up, well, then go with the center path, because this is going to help you out a whole lot more. But I like the damage output and the crit output that we get for the team by going the left path. So let's move over. 25% suppression dealt. So when you go this left path, every time you suppress with your relic, you get an increased 25% to that. Anytime you blow somebody apart with the bolt gun and just turn them into frickin' salsa, it suppresses those guys around him. It's like a fear factor thing, and they go back, it suppresses them, they take cover, it makes them not shoot at you for a second. So it's absolute utility huge. Movement speed right out the gun. Now this right here, Master's Retribution, anytime somebody comes in, this comes in for the guys that get in behind you that you don't see. When you hear that little audio cue that somebody's swinging at you out of your view and you don't have a chance to get them, you still take the damage, but this throws them back. And it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 5 guys, it throws them all back, and it just automatically opens space for you. It's like an auto parry. And then this right here couples with your cooldowns up here, and your corruption resistance and your cooldown. This allows you to get your relic back much quicker. Every critical hit. So think of it in the situation where a trash mob comes at you, you got a horde coming at you, you need to use your relic right away at the beginning, somebody goes down, something happens, whatever it is, or you just need to open space. Doing this and smashing away with your hammer on all those mobs afterwards is going to make this come back so fast. So a lot of the time you'll be able to use your relic again in the same fight. Now let's get down to Blazing Piety. This is just ridiculous, and this is for when you're getting into those higher levels of difficulty. You're starting to play in your damnations and your heresies and your oryx, and you're really playing as a team. This is where this really, really shines, when your team plays together. And again, if you're the guy that just needs to self-preservation, go with the center. But if you're that team player and you're moving in and you know your team's locked in, this is the juice right here. Blazing Piety gives you 15% crit hit chance for 8 seconds when in Fury. And that's when you'll see the corners of your screen glowing just like any other of your keystones that go off. Now, triggering Fury replenishes 50% toughness. Also huge, because this goes off 9 times out of 10 when you're in the middle of a freaking crazy chaos situation and it's just huge save your ass utility. And then the final one over here, this is the juice. Allies in Coherency gain 33% of your crit hit chance. So they gain 5% crit hit chance when you're in Fury. And when the shit is hitting the fan, Fury just keeps going off. It's like a steady pulse. Like it goes off for a bit, cools off for a bit, goes off for a bit. So it's these huge pulses of DR that you get and huge pulses of damage output that you get. So let's go over, we're gonna exit out of here. Guys, go back, save this, check it out on your own, move it around, see what you like, but I've played every avenue of the Zealot, and I'm an all-around player. I like to keep my team alive, but also have huge damage output, and I'm constantly running between first position and covering rear guard and picking somebody up, and holy shit, this shit is hitting the fan and we need help. This build allows you to do that for your team. So guys, we have a pretty set team. We play with a lot of the same guys. Everybody kind of knows their positions. We know who's doing what. And it's really helpful when you get up into those high level stuff. Because everybody's going to say, hey man, I got this Auric build. This is going to get you through Auric. Well, yeah, it's going to get you through Auric, but you also need your team to get you through Auric. So let's take a look at what's going on here. Now we've got the bolt gun. Now the bolt gun just turns mobs to paste. Yep. And if you single tap it, it's a double tap when you're... But you can also move over on these guys and just go ham on it. Now, there's the reload. When you do that, when you run out, that's when you get that big power melee shot. And that was just a heavy melee shot right here. So we're just going to do a heavy melee, nothing charged up. Just knocks everybody back. But you can come in and just do your regular attack and dome them. And that also puts the bleed on them and allows them to die a little bit quicker. Your fire grenade, this is what's going to open up space for you. And if you throw it down, these trash mobs, if they hang out in it, most of the time they're just dead. Yeah, hey guys. So they don't even have to get to you. So you can focus on your bigger enemies. You know, and when you get over into these guys, this is where the hammer shines. Come over, charge it up. You get in behind them with your enemy when your buddy's on them, and you just crank away on these guys. And they're taking damage from your buddies, but they take so much damage off the rip. And these guys take a single shot. That's Carapace. They've all got different armor sets. And when you swing around the side, you always want to try to stay left with these shielded guys. But as your buddies are taking aggro, come in, your regular shot doesn't do anything, but you charge that hammer and heavy shot, and he's done. Absolutely done. Works fantastic. Now you get over to the bolt gun, and you can come in 2 shots on just about any one of these, and when you just need to go ham, drops these guys real quick. Real quick. A lot of times these guys are a headache because they get in and they come in with the trash mobs and you don't see them. Just open up on them and they just turn to paste. All these guys that give you a headache from a long ways away. And it's really solid at distance as well. Come in. There you go. Turn your snipers into paste at distance. So it works great. And the other option, again, guys, if you can go over, your other option for your weapon is the Shredder, which also works really well. But it works much better on these guys when you throw down your stun or your immolation grenade and you just put it at head level and just run past head level. It just mows the mobs. It doesn't work so great against your real big guys, but it'll shred these guys down pretty quick and at least knock them back, which is what you need a lot of the time until you come over. Oh, that hit the guy on the side. There you go. But the hammer smashes away on your big heavies. So if you want to rely on the hammer for the big guys, you can go with the Shredder. And I'll go back and forth. I'm not going to lie. I'll go back and forth. It just kind of Depends on how I feel. If you want the shotgun, by all means, go with the shotgun. Go grab yourself a real nice shotgun and use it. But this is what I prefer, guys. Guys, I'm Jedi. Put another quarter in. If you like this stuff, you like what we do, check us out every Sunday night on Twitch, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We stream this stuff live with all of our builds. All of our buddies come in. We have a great, grand old time. Guys, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Tell a friend or 2 or 3 or 5. You know, all that happy horse shit. For social media, you know what to do. Check us out. We'll see you next time.
Oh, I gotta grab that. Fuck.
You got too many around you. I'm down. Just focus on him. Kick his ass.
Oh, fuck, I'm down.
I'm off in the back corner, off to your right, that I think you're...
That's John. That's John right next to me. We rescued.
I'm gonna go get him. You keep working on him, Jedi.
Give me a motherfucker.
Cooling down. Back on crowd control.
Good shit. Fuck yeah.